something weird is happening with the Golden State Warriors. As you all know, the Warriors currently ranked 6th in the Western Conference, but they are currently only one win away from being in the top 5. Now, when it comes to the Warriors, there are a couple of stats that don't make sense on how well the Warriors are doing. So in today's video, we're going to be going through 5 weird stats that you may not know about this Golden State Warriors team, and how these certain stats could make or break the Golden State Warriors when it comes playoff time and winning another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hit that red button down below. So the first weird stat is the Golden State Warriors have one of the worst away records that are still in the playoffs. Now, if we look at the Golden State Warriors so far this season, in the away record, they actually stand 9 from 25. So they haven't even hit double digits when it comes to wins when playing on the road, and this is honestly surprising to see. If we look at them, they are in the top 8 right now, where they 6th in the actual Western Conference, and the only other team to be below 10 road wins is actually San Antonio Spurs and Houston Rockets for the Western Conference. And Spurs rank 14th and Rockets rank 15th. So it is actually super surprising to see how they have such a bad away record, but yet are still in the playoff picture. And I think this has surprised a lot of people. A lot of people thought that maybe Stephen Curry was out during these road games, but guys, Stephen Curry has actually played more road games than he has at home. So no one really knows what is the actual problem with the Golden State Warriors when it comes to playing on the road, but it seems to be a big problem for them. Now, if we even look at the Eastern Conference, everyone has actually won above 10 wins when it comes to on the road. However, for one team, which is the Detroit Pistons, who actually rank 15th in the Eastern Conference. However, they also have 9 wins as well on the road, so they actually match the Golden State Warriors. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense, even if we look at stats. Steph Curry, when averaging from home, he averages around 28 points, and away he averages 30 points. His rebounds also go up with away games, and also do his assists. So it doesn't seem to be Stephen Curry, but some other stats did come out where it did show a little bit of a discrepancy between home and away games. If we look at Klay Thompson, at home he's actually averaging 25 points. However, at away he's only averaging 18.6. So you definitely see a huge discrepancy there. His rebounds are also a little bit lower, from 4.4 at home to 4.1 in away, but it doesn't really seem to be too big of a difference compared to his points. If we look at Kevon Looney, at home he averages around 10 rebounds per game. However, Kevon Looney in away games only averages 8, so you definitely see 2 rebound difference there. If we also look at Draymond Green, Draymond actually is less in every single statistical category when playing away. So this is points, rebounds, and also assists. So I honestly think it was super interesting to see what's really causing the problem when it comes to Golden State Warriors in away games, but they don't seem to be able to get it done. I think there's honestly such a fantastic stat to look at, because this could really be a huge take when it comes to the playoff time. They may not have the home court advantage that they always have, especially when it comes to playoffs, as ranking is super important. So this is something they definitely need to work on, and I guess focus on, especially when it comes to away games, as they won't have the home court advantage for playoff series once the playoff starts. The second crazy stat is that Stephen Curry isn't even the highest scorer for the Golden State Warriors, or even the most 3 points made. Now, I think this comes to a surprise to everyone, but everyone knows that Steph Curry is the Golden State Warriors. He's a leader for this team in all facets, but he actually hasn't scored the most total points out of all the Golden State Warriors players this year. The number 1 spot actually belongs to none other than Jordan Poole, which has surprised a lot of people. Now, Jordan Poole has actually scored so far this season 1,524 points this season, while Stephen Curry has only scored 1,450. So this is honestly surprising to everyone, and it did also surprise me at the time. But as you all know, Jordan Poole is a scorer, and when there are a couple of baddies on the sideline, he definitely gets the scoring going. So I honestly do think this has had a huge impact when it comes to Jordan Poole, and also hit the max contract that he had. Obviously, Jordan Poole is trying to live up to that hype, and he continues to do so by scoring each and every single night. Now, Steph Curry has missed a couple of games compared to Jordan Poole, who has played quite a lot more, but I do still think this is an interesting stat to look at, because it does show that Jordan Poole has the scoring capability, whether Stephen Curry is on or whether he is is off. And he's even way past Klay Thompson, as well as Klay Thompson also has more games than Steph Curry. Klay has only scored 1,372. So Jordan Poole is coming off the bench and is actually the most total points out of all Golden State Warriors players, which I thought was fantastic to see from someone like Poole. Now, if we go over to the 3-point made as well this season, Stephen Curry doesn't actually rank number 1. It's actually none other than Klay Thompson. Now, Klay Thompson, like I mentioned before with also Jordan Poole, he has played a couple more games. However, Klay Thompson has hit 268 3-points this year, while Stephen Curry has only made 238 3-pointers. So a 33-point difference. So I think this is honestly fantastic to see from Klay Thompson. It does seem he is back to where he was before the major injuries, and also, you know, he is only getting better and healthier as time has gone on. It's definitely going to be needed in the playoff time and especially championship time, but the fact that he has been able to lead this team, especially in 3-pointers, really does show that Klay Thompson is striving to get better and has gotten better at that as well. But I thought this was an interesting stat to look at. This does not take away the fact that Stephen Curry is the leader of this team. He always will be the leader for this team, but I thought it was super interesting to see Klay and Jordan Poole really provide where it's needed, whether it's in 3-point or whether it's just scoring all around. The third is the Golden State Warriors are the only team in the bottom 10 in defensive rating, but are still in the playoff picture. Now, as you all know, as they say, defense wins championships, and it doesn't seem to be the case with the Golden State Warriors. So far this season, they have lost players such as Gary Payton II, also others such as Juan Toscano Anderson and also Otto Porter, and it did take a huge hit to their defense. They actually rank and tied for 20th in defensive rating out of all 30 NBA teams, so they do rank in the bottom 10. However, when it comes to defensive rating, it doesn't seem to have taken effect, because so far the Golden State Warriors rank 6th in the Western Conference. So this surprised a lot of people, because they're only one of the few teams that are actually in the bottom 10 in defensive ranking, but are still in the playoff picture. The only other team to do this is actually the Atlanta Hawks, but they actually rank 8th in the Western Conference, while Golden State Warriors still rank 6th. So defensive rating, obviously on top of that, comes with points allowed, and when it comes to points allowed to the other team, the Golden State Warriors also rank 25th in that category, so pretty much the 5th worst out of all 30 NBA teams. So this really doesn't make any sense, and like I mentioned in the title of this video, this is super weird. If you look at some of the other teams that are actually in the bottom 10 in defensive rating, you have Dallas Mavericks, who right now currently are out of the playoff picture. You also have other teams such as San Antonio Spurs, Houston Rockets, Detroit Pistons, and Portland Trailblazers, who are all out of the playoff picture and are pretty much tanking right now to go for Victor Wembanyama. So this was honestly hilarious to see, especially when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, because they have been able to finesse the system, and shows that sometimes offense can win games and win championships at the end of the day. The Golden State Warriors are used to being a very great defensive team. However, this season it seems to have gone the other way, where they have pushed the offense even more. Now, it is great to have players back such as Gary Payton II, who is playing his first couple of games very soon, maybe by the time you're watching this video, but I do think Golden State Warriors can definitely get that defensive rating up, especially when it comes to playoff and championship time, and I think it will definitely be needed. Yes, they have gotten to 6th place, so they are in the playoff picture, even though they have a bad defensive rating, but I think when it comes down to it, when it comes to playoff series, they are going to have to push that number higher and play some of the greatest defense they can ever do, whether that's with Gary Payton II, whether that's with Dante DiVincenzo, or even the players that you wouldn't expect stepping up, such as Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, who aren't really seen as defensive players, but stepping up to the plate in order to get the job done. So I think this is really important for the Warriors to figure this out, but so far it has worked out in their favor, because their offense is just that good that they don't even need that much defense to deal with. I think if they were able to get up to maybe even the top 15 of Golden State Warriors defense, or get there with the NBA in the top 15, I think that is definitely more than enough for the Warriors to be able to win another NBA championship. The fourth is that Stephen Curry is shooting the best season he has ever shot in his entire career. So we talked about this time and time again, but Stephen Curry is playing some of the best basketball he has ever played, even over some of his peak seasons of 2015 to 2016. If we look at some of his peak seasons, in 2015-2016 season, he was averaging 30 points, 2.1 steals, 6.7 assists, and 5.4 rebounds. If we look at his stats this year, he's shooting 29.6 points per game. He's also averaging 6.2 rebounds, which is actually the highest he has ever averaged, and also 6.3 assists. So this is some of the best basketball he has ever played, because if we look at his percentages, it even gets more insane. If we look at his field goal percentage, he's actually shooting the highest field goal percentage percentage he has ever shot, he actually tied with his 2015-2016 season of around 50% from the field. If we look at his 3-point percentage, he's somewhat up there at the top, where 2012-2013 he was able to shoot 45% from the three, but now he's shooting 43%. Now, obviously, you do got to take into account that he is taking 4 to 5 more threes per game than he was back in 2012 and 2013, so that's something to be wary about as well. But if we look at his overall effective field goal percentage, guys, this is where it gets honestly insane. So the effective field goal percentage is a statistic adjusted for the fact that a 3-point field goal is worth more than a 2-pointer or even, other stuff like that. So when it comes to his effective field goal percentage, he's shooting the highest at 62%. The last time he shot this high, guys, was in 2015-2016. Okay, so this is pretty much showing you guys that Stephen Curry has not aged one bit, and he is honestly just playing at peak Steph Curry form. So I think it is great to see that even though Steph Curry is 35 years old, heading into 36 next year, he is still playing at such a high level. It doesn't even seem like he's slowing down anytime soon. I do think it's definitely built around his game that he has built, and I think it's honestly great to see Steph Curry continuing to play at a high level. The fifth weird stat is that the Golden State Warriors are the fastest team in the NBA. Now, this is something that has surprised a lot of people, because although Golden State Warriors are a very fast team, they have never been the fastest team in the NBA for some time now. If you look at a couple of seasons ago, especially when they won championships, they ranked around 15th when it came to pace, but now they are up there at the top because they actually rank 1 with 102.59 as their pace. Another team that is coming second is Oklahoma City Thunder with 101.92, so they are well above the pack. And I honestly think this was super surprising to see. Golden State Warriors play a fast-paced game, but they are literally playing 1 or 2 steps ahead of a lot of other teams. If you look at some of the most fast-paced teams, they actually aren't teams that are in the playoffs. The next fastest team to actually be in the playoff picture is the 7th spot, which is the Milwaukee Bucks. So it definitely shows a big discrepancy in this. Fast-paced teams usually don't make the playoffs, but Golden State Warriors have defied the odds once again and have done the impossible.